I thought it would be a fun thing to do a new type of video format where I pick 5 cases that I would choose if I could only own 5 forever. And my first pick would of course be the Rockform Crystal. Damn, this case has been one of my favorites for a while now. And it still gives me the most secure feeling when I'm out doing whatever. Camera cutout does not bother me at all, and months later I have not used it outside of testing for YouTube. The case is just very comfortable. I love that material on the sides as well. Not too grippy, but soft, but not flexible. It's just great. Love the design too, with that half clear back, and the magnets at the back are of course clutch. I use that so much. Whenever there isn't a table or something, just stick it up to something metal. It's so handy. Now, there's always that one moment where I take the case off and use something else, and then I realize it's no longer protected by magnets. I now have to be careful where I lay it, because if the phone vibrates, it could fall off. Front protection is more than enough. The buttons are clicky and no uncomfortable piece to be found on this case, which is especially important for me where you support the phone. Extra corner protection, I mean, what else would you need? To be honest, they of course changed some things over the years, but with the S25 Ultra, it's still my go-to. The only thing I've noticed after using it for a while is that there's going to be scratches on the clear backplate. But yeah, it's getting used, who cares? Now, I love all kinds of cases, so I would say the Flex case from Rebel would make it to this list too. For the times when I just want to go minimal and yet don't compromise on protection. It just goes so incredibly well with everything. The details of this case are just perfect. There is so much attention to detail here. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the brand Rebel is from Everything Apple Pro. Yeah, that one. The one you guys keep commenting about on my videos. So I think that's amazing too, and really inspiring. But you guys know me. I wouldn't have put it in this list if I didn't think it's an amazing case. It has great front protection on those 2 sides. All buttons are accessible, so no need for buttons. And that's amazing news for the camera control button too, since nothing is as good as the original button. Comfortable all around, and something I noticed when using this case is just how nice it is to utilize the whole screen without edges. It's a funny detail, but I noticed that straight away. The corners just swirl around very nicely in such an artistic way too. It's a great case. Also very strong MagSafe and a big camera bump. Now, before we go on with the last 2, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, ESR. Have you ever seen a sponsored segment where they drop a brand new phone with a case? Well, this is a first then. If you're planning on getting the new iPhone 16e and want good protection, look no further. Their screen protector is one of the easiest and best ways to quickly protect your screen. Just clean your screen, after which you can lay it in like this, then press and pull the tab to apply. Use the squeegee to get the remaining bubbles out, which were all on the sides already by the way, which is always a good sign, and really this whole process was amazingly simple. After the screen protector, you can choose a case. Now, ESR has a lot of cases, but today we're going over the Halo Lock Cyber Tough case and the Classic Hybrid. Both are excellent, but if you really want amazing protection, you should first look at the Cyber Tough case. A 2-layer case, of which I'm usually not a big fan, but with this one it's very easy to install, and because of the 2 layers, the corners are made of this shock-absorbing silicone, which even extend to the front, where it will protect the screen as well. Now, even though the 16e does not have MagSafe, you can still enjoy all of the benefits that come with a case that does. Both cases have very clicky buttons too, and the same camera bump to protect the lens. There's also the Classic Hybrid, very grippy, that same amazing MagSafe strength, and it all feels very protective too. Now, thank you ESR for sponsoring the channel, and now back to the video. Now, the newcomer in this list is the Ghost case from D-Brand. I've really come to love this one. Comfortable all around, very strong MagSafe. Looks great too. And the buttons on the side are also amazingly comfortable to use too. Amazing fit as well. Really snug but easily removable if you so desire. And that grippy design all around, man, it's really a signature design with the ghost case, which they have now perfected. That goes for the camera control button too, if you can find it, that is. They made it in that same design. As far as the button itself goes, it works fine, but it's not as responsive as with other buttons. Still, for the usual picture and zooming, it's more than enough. The big, volume and action button are unusual on such a minimal and thin looking case, which is all the more reason why it ended up on this list. It's a great combo as far as comfort and looks go. It also does feel very strong, which is especially noticeable with these sides. It therefore feels very durable too and would be a good pick for the list that allows for me to only pick 5 for eternity. Now, even though the sheath is a great case, I would choose this one not only because of its comfort, protection, clicky buttons and suede-like inner, which makes it feel a lot more premium, but also because you cannot really see drop damage with these. I've dropped this case multiple times and even on the drop tests, there wasn't really anything that would have suggested it had been dropped multiple times. And for a list like this, that's even more important. I think durability is an overall great perk of a case, so I love that here too. One of the best fitting cases on the market right now. It's just so satisfying to install this case. Easily installed, easily removed, easily cleaned. Amazing buttons, and I saw they even have those interchangeable buttons now too, which also look great, although I haven't seen them yet. No texture at the bottom, which is also a great feature too. So yes, this would definitely have to be in my list. Now, I thought long and hard over these. The Nomad Sport in that orange just looks really good. The ESR Flick Stand, also a great case, or even the newly received Rhino Shield Clear case with that side that is just so comfortable. But I am set on featuring mouse as my last pick. The clarity with that camera control button just makes for such a recommendable option. Very strong sides, which once again add to that durability aspect too. Amazing fit, you cannot slap-dash this thing off at all. The camera control button is very useful, although there is better ones, yes. Extra corner protection, which isn't noticeable from its design, but it's definitely there. I love that front protection too, which swells up at the top and bottom, which is amazing for actually using the full screen, which I talked about earlier with that Rebel case too. I mean, very satisfyingly clicky buttons and not an uncomfortable bit or piece to be found, and relatively grippy. Although it's definitely not as grippy as something like the Kadabi sheath or the Ghost case. Now, it may sound funny, but having this case, this mouse clarity case in your hands, it just feels so strong. And it feels like it could handle a lot too. So that's why I would put it here. Now, I am curious, what cases would you pick if you could only pick 5 cases forever? I'm very curious to see and hear what other people in this niche think. So technically T, if you see this video, firstly shout out to you, but also which 5 cases would you pick if you could only pick 5 forever?